Hello, welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at foster care and adoption needs in Connecticut. My name is Jacqueline Ford. I am humbled and honored to have worked for the Department of Children and Families for almost 30 years. And although I may be familiar with many of the topics I bring to you, I am inviting experts in those fields to share their knowledge. Joining us today for a two-part show is Brian Cofrancesco, Head of Kid Governor from the Connecticut Democracy Center, Riley Bard and her mom Erin, who will talk to us about her special interest in such a sensitive topic of foster care. Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jackie.
I am so excited to have learned about the Kid Governor program recently in our partnership. So it was a joy to have you on with us today to talk about that. Before we get started about the Kid Governor program, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am the head of education at Connecticut's Old State House. I work for the Democracy Center at Connecticut's Old State House, where we teach students about history and civics in one of really the most sacred spaces, civic spaces in Connecticut, of the Old State House. And my background is in architectural history, and my job at the Old State House was a great way to pull in my interest of history and historic sites with my personal interest in civic engagement, which is really what helped birth the Kid Governor program. Yeah,
so let's talk about that. So what is Kid Governor?
Great question.
Take us right back to the beginning of its inception.
So Kid Governor is a program that our team conceived back in 2015. We were looking for a way to teach younger students about civics, really in the bigger picture of trying to improve civic engagement and voting. And we thought, what better way to teach students about civics and elections and voting than to have them vote in an actual election themselves, which sounds like a really big undertaking, a little bit of a nuts idea, but we decided why not give it a try. So in 2015, we piloted the Connecticut's Kid Governor program, where fifth graders could choose an issue that they wanted to see changed, research it, and work with their classmates to develop 3-point platforms of ways that kids could make a difference on that issue. And then from there, each school can nominate one student for a statewide election, and they submit a campaign video, just like adults do, outlining why they want to be Kid Governor, what their leadership skills are, and about their platform and action plan. And the top 7 students statewide are the final candidates, and fifth graders watch their videos, just like we do as adults, and cast their votes during a statewide election in November.
So tell me, this is open to every fifth grader in the state of Connecticut? Correct.
It's a school-based program or homeschool, but any public, private, charter, magnet, or homeschool program can participate, and it's free of charge. We wanted to eliminate any barriers to schools participating, so any fifth grade class can register to vote and participate in the election.
And so if every school were to nominate a child to run in this election, people would be able to vote on them?
So we take all of the nominations statewide, and we have an advisory committee of civics and education professionals who watch the videos, and they use the same rubrics that we recommend students use, and they narrow the playing field down to the final 7. And those are the 7 candidates that go on to the statewide election.
Wow, and what's that process like?
So the 7. The 7?
Yeah, once they're whittled down to that number of lucky 7.
So the 7 videos are posted online in very early November, and the day before Election Day, that Monday, through the Tuesday after Election Day, classes all around the state watch those videos in their schools, which is great to hear about schools that have special watching parties, or they'll have polling places and voting booths, and they really try to make it feel like an authentic election. And we encourage the students to think about, as they watch the videos, would this candidate represent me well? Do I support their platform? Would I like to make a difference on this in my community? And really thinking through the questions that when they become 18 and go out to vote, they should be thinking about when they go into the voting booth themselves.
Wow, that's wonderful. So how do they vote? What's the process for actually casting your vote?
So the students, we actually put together a ballot that we provide to teachers online, and it's modeled off of the Connecticut ballot. So it'll look very similar to if kids get to go with their families to the polls, they'll recognize the layout of it. and students get to vote just like we do. So they have a pen or a pencil and they fill in their little bubble, and the teachers collate the ballots for us, and then they submit their votes to us electronically.
And so it's all electronic, so you know by the end of that day what
we do, yes. We as a staff are frantically watching as the votes come in and tabulations, and once we have the final winner selected, we confirm that they've won with the family and with the teacher, and they accept on behalf of the student, but they don't tell the student. And about a week later, we have a live announcement assembly at the student's school where they find out live themselves.
Wow.
And we're really fortunate that we often have many media outlets that come to cover it. We broadcast it live on Facebook, and we have classes that will tune in to watch and find out live who the next Connecticut's Kid Governor will be.
Wow, what a great platform to give these kids voices. And you know, I had the pleasure of watching some of those, and I was just so inspired by the vision that these kids have, and the very relevant topics that they want to impact.
You know, it's really fascinating because when we launched this, now we're going into our 5th year, which is incredible. You know, we wanted to give kids a platform to make their voices heard. And I remember early on, people were joking, you know, oh, they're all going to want more recess, or they're all going to want less homework. And, you know, we do have a few of them, but what's great is the kids who are running on more recess are backing it up with, well, here's why physical fitness is important, or here's why we should have a break in the middle of the day to keep our minds going. And they're coming up with very relevant topics that are, you know, they're clearly listening to what's going on in the world. They're watching the issues and problems they're identifying in their community, whether it be about, you know, hunger or homelessness or helping other people. And all of their platforms come down to the core issue of kindness. And that's what's pretty incredible, is the empathy that these kids show and the work they do to put together platforms to help others.
So the base is kindness, and then they build upon that. So do those 7, do you get to know, as the head of this program, do you get to meet those 7 and get to know them as this whole process is beginning for them? I
do, and so we actually have a great relationship with the 7 students. So of those 7, 1 will be elected as Kid Governor, and that student takes office in January. We have a big inauguration day at the Old State House. So we have the 7 finalists, their home classes, so it's about 150 5th graders, and then dignitaries and elected officials. This past year we had all 6 executive officers from the state government, and we also had Congresswoman Johanna Hayes and the Commissioner of Education, and they come for a full day to celebrate their election, and they're also celebrating state government and civics. So they go through the building and explore the different chambers and learn about the 3 branches of government, and that kicks off their full year of leadership as the Kid Governor's cabinet. So the 6 finalists who are not elected as Kid Governor have a leadership role as the cabinet. And they meet every few months to advise the Kid Governor, coach the Kid Governor on their platform, and provide assistance. But they also work together to execute their own platforms. Because as much as the Kid Governor program is about the student who wins, it's also about student action and encouraging kids to be involved locally. So by having a cabinet, those students are also working to excite students around the state about their platforms. So they know if they're in that top 7, they're going to have a really an imperative role, you know, an integral role in the work for that whole year. And that starts in January, and that goes for a calendar year? Correct. So the Kid Governor's term starts in January and goes for the entire calendar year, and the cabinet works right alongside the Kid Governor through that year. So is it putting you on the spot to ask you what the 7 platforms were of the cabinet? Well, you're testing my memory, but let's see. I know Riley, because Riley will be joining us shortly, but the other children. Yeah, we had Riley focused on foster care. We had Madison focused on recycling. Jason focusing on children's literacy. We also had, oh man, you're
That's okay.
Eva,
That's okay.
who focused on helping the children in poverty. We had Melody, who focused on food for all. And we had Hayden, who had a focus on limiting electronic use, which was a very different type of platform. Yeah. Yes, especially coming from the lens of a child. Absolutely, who these days seem to be so involved with technology. So tell me a little bit about the responsibilities that a Kid Governor has, because we have to keep in mind that these are kids. You know, they're only 5th grade children, and you know, to ask too much of them. What are the responsibilities that they have? Absolutely. When we launched this program, we wanted to make it clear that this was not a governor for a day thing, or just a cute election. This is an actual election with real consequences, because the student who is elected does serve a full year term. So their responsibilities really are to work with myself and our team at the Connecticut Democracy Center to implement their platform. So the 3 points that they create when making their platform, they will focus on for a full year. So making sure they find success and achieve those. They also maintain a blog where they submit blog posts about the appearances they make, or the folks they meet with, or what other students are doing to support their platform. They also have a library circuit. So in September, our current Kid Governor, Ella Briggs, will visit 5 libraries to hold almost mini town hall meetings, sharing their platform and what they've been doing, while also encouraging others to support their work.
How do you measure, when you go back to talking about their goals, how do you measure the success of their goals?
So we meet with the Kid Governor soon after they're elected and map out their whole year. So they may have one platform point, but in one sentence, there's of course a lot of work that has to be done to achieve that. So we talk about what will success look like when you've met this platform point, and what do we have to do to get there. And we sort of stagger their work throughout the year, so that, as you mentioned, it's a lot to ask of a 5th grader. We don't want them to become too overwhelmed, and we also want them to be successful. So we take each point and we give it a few months so that we can work to create resources so that other students and teachers can help that student achieve success, and for the student to really make a true difference and an impact around their platform.
So they have those meetings with you, and then the town hall meetings at the libraries, and what are some other responsibilities that they have?
So we get many appearance requests, as you might imagine.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and what's great about it is that students are really respecting the Kid Governor as a voice of students and really a true change maker in the state. And so we get requests, and we don't have a minimum number that the student must achieve, but we work with the family and with the teacher to determine which are the best use of the student's time as far as what will move their platform forward. Just like an elected official, just like the governor himself does, we have an appearance request form on our website where folks explain why they would like the Kid Governor to meet with them or attend an event, and how that will help raise their visibility. So this year, our Kid Governor has spoken at conferences. She was one of the featured speakers at the True Colors Conference. She met with U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal for a special meeting and interview in her office, visited with middle schoolers, did a Skype session with elementary school students about her platform. So really had good opportunities to get her platform out there by meeting with other people and really building, consensus and building interest and support around her issue.
Right. Well, that's great. And what kind of supports do you offer at the Old State House, for this program for a child like that? Because I'm sure you're working closely and collaborating with their families, with the parents.
Absolutely. We are in very frequent communication through, phone calls, in-person meetings, email, really working to support that student. So we are kind of the Kid Governor's support team as far as helping and guiding them along. So reviewing speeches, coordinating and assisting with blog posts, and then when it comes to creating the resources, we really coach the student through whatever materials need to be created for teachers or for students, or as I'm sure we'll talk about, the poster contest.
Yes.
We work, we're really the ones who help do the behind the scenes work to help the student.
So if the viewers watching today want to know more about Kid Governor, is there a website to our current Kid Governor Ella's blog?
Yes, so if they go to ct.kidgovernor.org, they can access information about the program, about Ella's platform, and there's a link to her blog from there.
So the blog is open to the public, anyone can do that. And how often does she blog?
It's every month or every 2 months. If she's got a busy month, sometimes we'll get a bonus post in there. But the Kid Governor's Cabinet members also submit blog posts about what they're doing. So there's a lot of content that folks can read on there.
Because these 5th graders, I'm sure, are also involved in many other extracurricular activities because they're such great role models in this role, but yet they're still kids and they're still doing theater and sports and all of that good stuff.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so great that they've made the time for this, because they really see a value in their platforms. It's all about student voice and about students leading in action for change. So while we're there in the background, helping them make connections and giving them guidance, what you see is student created and all the motivation of Connecticut fifth graders.
And any teachers watching, all the information to get involved from a fifth grade teacher perspective is on that same website?
Yes, we have it all up. ct.kidgovernor.org/resources. Our registration is live for this fall's election. Our free toolkits of classroom lesson plans and resources are all posted there. And then teachers can always get in touch with us directly via email or via phone if they have questions or would like some more information.
So the election's coming up.
It is just
Yes.
a couple weeks away.
Wow. So now tell us about Ella Briggs, our current kid governor.
So Ella was elected as a fifth grader at Creck Anna Grace Academy of the Arts Elementary Magnet School in Avon. She is from East Hampton and as a magnet school student. And she ran on the platform of Pride, Hope, Love to make a difference around LGBTQ youth safety. And that was an issue that she put forward, and other kids then supported and elected her to make a difference around. And when she ran for kid governor, she had 3 points to her platform. The first was to train teachers about how they could support LGBTQ students. And she did that through a webinar in the spring, which was a partnership with the State Department of Education, as well as support from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. And that was a resource that is also available online for teachers or families who want to learn more about how they can support LGBTQ students. She wanted to create safe spaces for students in schools, and she's working on a guide on how to kickstart in-school clubs and GSAs. And then the third point was to raise awareness around adoptions of LGBTQ students, which led to our partnership.
Yes, that's how we became involved. And she's such an impressive fifth grader and so sensitive about this topic. And I think that we're at a time in our society where we need the voices of youth, and we do need those safe spaces to be created in the clubs and the supports. So what will Ella's responsibility be after the election?
So her term will continue right through the end of the year. So she'll be working up until that point on her resource for schools on jumpstarting their clubs. And then in December, we will have a leadership transition meeting where the outgoing and the incoming kid governors meet at Connecticut's Old State House in Hartford in the historic governor's office, which is now the kid governor's office. And their families and teachers come, and it's an opportunity for them to all speak together and learn about what the experience has been for the outgoing student and what it will be for the incoming student. And then we sit down with the new student at that meeting and start mapping out their term. And Ella's last official responsibility will be next January at the inauguration of the 2020 Kid Governor, where Ella will give her farewell address, almost a state of the state, and then her term will be finished.
Wow. That's quite a resume.
Yeah.
Something to put on your resume for sure.
Yes.
So if you could think in 5 years where this program will be, because am I understanding that when you did it for the first time it was a pilot?
It was a pilot, yes.
And here we are going into our fifth, or this is our
Going into our fifth year, yes.
So 5 years down the road, where do you see this program evolving?
We certainly did not expect that we would be here. We have been blown away by the success of this and how much teachers really see the value in civics in the elementary classroom. I'm happy to say that even though we're only 5 years in, we now have 2 other states on board participating as Kid Governor affiliates. So we're actually on the road of creating a national program.
Wow.
We have a program in Oregon run by the Oregon Secretary of State's office, Oregon's Kid Governor, and New Hampshire's Kid Governor, run by 2 nonprofits in New Hampshire. And we're getting ready to announce a new affiliate, hopefully for 2020.
Wow.
And so we're working to build this national coalition, really, a national movement around civics. And we already have partnerships with the National Association of Secretaries of State, and we're also getting information and some support and encouragement from the National Governors Association. So in 5 years, we'll hopefully be in even more states than we are now, and really on our way to being in all 50 across the country and the territories.
And then perhaps a kid president.
That has
if we
been
can
brought
get that
up.
into all the states, then they can really make an impact.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so, it's wonderful. So I'm so glad that this program has flourished the way that it has. And it really, I mean, these kids are such great role models. And I think that when you talk about the politicians and the inauguration, it really makes these kids feel special for all that they are and all that they want to do and accomplish. So in our second show, when we come back, right now we're going to take a break and we're going to show Ella's video,
Right, yeah.
Ella's platform video, so our viewers can get to know Ella. And again, can you say the website?
ct.kidgovernor.org.
Okay, so we encourage all of our viewers to go there, but we're going to show the video and then we're going to come back to the set with Riley and her mom. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jackie.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Ella and I am your next Kid Governor. As a proud member of the LGBTQ community, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender questioning, I'm looking forward to having your help to keep our schools safe and to spread the message that love is love. And together we can make Connecticut a bit more colorful. Talk is cheap, so our actions must speak louder than our words. Using many of my leadership qualities, I will work to bring awareness for all LGBTQ issues and opportunities and provide real results for the children of Connecticut. I am kind and accepting. I will be the voice for all students, no matter what race, religion, gender, or sexuality. I am determined. I will fight for what I believe in, no matter how many people say no, no matter how many times people will be mean to me. I will continue spreading the message of hope and acceptance, and I will remind our teachers and classmates what it's like to respect one another. And remember, love is love. Unfortunately, there are always going to be people who will believe what we are doing is not right. They will do mean things or even worse. But the thing is, we can't change this. We were born this way. We live our truth. Now help me help others live theirs. Together, we will raise awareness for the need for more foster families to provide loving and safe spaces for Connecticut's LGBTQ youth that no longer have a safe and accepting home. We can help by making posters to inform LGBTQ youth and the families who would like to adopt them. My second idea is to have teachers trained in every school for students to talk to privately and comfortably with about bullying or any other issues. All students should feel safe, no matter what. My third idea is we can build support centers where every week members of the LGBTQ youth community and allies can come together and talk about what's important to them and just enjoy some bully-free time where we can all be ourselves. We know that this is going to cost a lot of money. My idea is to sell pride shirts and to do bake sales. Who doesn't love a rainbow cookie? I can't do this alone though. With your vote, you can become part of a team to keep our youth safe and happy. And isn't that all we want in this world? To feel loved, to feel kindness, to feel safe? With your vote, we will be able to keep all of us safe. Make a choice, make a change. And together, we can make a difference. Vote for Ella, and remember, love is love.